Every failure hides a lesson, and every mistake is a step closer to success. This is how courage turns defeat into growth. He failed, fell, and learned to rise again. Discover how embracing mistakes can become the secret weapon for unstoppable growth. Failure is the one word that makes the heart skip, the stomach tighten, and the mind spin in self-doubt. Yet, beneath that discomfort lies the single most powerful engine for growth, the courage to fail. Across history, every breakthrough, every innovation, every transformation has been born from someone's willingness to take a risk, fall hard, and rise again smarter than before. In a world obsessed with perfection, we've forgotten the true beauty of mistakes. They are not the opposite of success, but its foundation. Meet Ryan Brooks, a young software engineer in San Francisco chasing the next big app idea. He spent 2 years coding what he believed would revolutionize local delivery systems. Investors weren't impressed. Users didn't come. The app failed spectacularly. But in that collapse, Ryan learned more about product design, human psychology, and resilience than he ever had in college. Today, he leads a thriving AI company because he learned to see failure not as a full stop, but as a comma in the sentence of success. His courage to fail became his passport to progress. Every child learns to walk by falling. Every athlete learns to play by missing. Yet, as adults, we build walls around our ambition to protect ourselves from embarrassment. We call it caution, but in truth, it's fear masquerading as wisdom. The courage to fail isn't recklessness. It's the audacity to learn in public. It's the awareness that each mistake is simply data, feedback from reality, guiding you toward mastery. Think about Thomas Edison, who famously said he didn't fail 1,000 times, he just found 1,000 ways that didn't work. That's not failure, that's research. In the corporate world, companies like Google and Amazon have built entire cultures around failing fast. They reward experiments that don't succeed because those experiments reveal what doesn't work faster, saving time and resources. That mindset is the future of innovation, one where curiosity outweighs comfort. But it's not just for billion-dollar enterprises. It applies to every person who wants to grow, whether you're launching a small business, learning to paint, or starting a YouTube channel. The ones who win aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who never stop trying. Now picture this, a classroom in Texas where high school teacher Amanda Lewis runs something called the Failure Lab. Every week, her students present projects that didn't go as planned. Instead of shame, there's laughter, reflection, and a round of applause. Amanda teaches her students what most adults forget, that courage grows from the soil of mistakes. Her students outperform their peers not because they're smarter, but because they're unafraid to be wrong. That's what courage looks like when it's alive. Neuroscience backs this up. When we fail, the brain lights up in regions tied to learning and memory. It's the mind's way of saying, pay attention, this matters. But here's the catch. We only access that benefit when we're not paralyzed by shame. The courage to fail is about staying calm in that uncomfortable space long enough to extract wisdom from the wreckage. That's what separates growth from guilt. Failure doesn't teach us automatically, reflection does. In one remarkable experiment, Stanford researchers found that students who reframed failure as part of learning saw a 30% improvement in long-term retention. They didn't study harder, they studied braver. That's a profound difference. Imagine if more schools, more workplaces, and more families taught that mindset instead of punishing mistakes. We'd raise innovators, not imitators.
Take Sarah Mitchell, a chef in Chicago who dreamed of opening her own restaurant. Her first attempt collapsed within months. Too few customers, too many bills. She was devastated. But instead of giving up, she analyzed everything she'd done wrong: her pricing, her menu, her marketing. 2 years later, her second restaurant became a local favorite. When asked what changed, Sarah said, "I stopped trying to avoid failure. I started trying to understand it." That's the magic of courage. It turns pain into strategy. Failure also builds empathy. When you've been humbled, you see the humanity in others. Leaders who've stumbled make better mentors because they understand struggle firsthand. In business, we call this psychological safety, the trust that allows teams to take risks without fear of blame. Companies that nurture it are 20% more innovative, 50% more productive, and infinitely more human. Courage to fail doesn't just build better professionals, it builds better people. Let's step back for a second. Imagine a world where every person is afraid to fail. No startups, no art, no exploration. Humanity would stand still. Every flight, every cure, every invention was once a gamble. The Wright brothers were mocked for believing metal could fly. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television. If they hadn't embraced failure, they'd have disappeared into anonymity, and so would their impact. Their courage wasn't superhuman. It was simply the decision to keep going when the world said stop. The truth is, failure doesn't care who you are. It visits everyone, the confident and the cautious alike. The difference is what you do when it knocks. Do you retreat or do you rebuild? When you embrace mistakes, you transform your relationship with risk. You stop waiting for permission to begin. You realize that mastery isn't built on talent, it's built on iteration. That's how scientists make discoveries, how entrepreneurs find markets, and how creators build art that moves people. Every success story is a love letter to persistence. This documentary isn't about glorifying failure, it's about reframing it. Because courage to fail isn't about falling, it's about falling forward. It's understanding that failure is feedback from the future, whispering, "Not this way, try again." The more you practice it, the faster you learn, the stronger you grow, and the more unstoppable you become. So here's the challenge. Fail at something this week. Try the idea you've been too scared to test. Launch that business, that song, that podcast. Write the chapter. Pitch the client. Apply for the promotion. You might not succeed today, but you'll gain data that will lead you to tomorrow's success. The ones who dare to fail don't just change their lives, they change the world. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting despite it. And if there's one lesson life keeps teaching, it's this: mistakes don't define you. How you respond to them does. The courage to fail is the courage to learn. And learning, that's the most powerful success of all. If this story inspired you, remember, courage grows when it's shared. So like, share, and subscribe to join us on this journey of learning, resilience, and relentless growth. Because the next time you fall, you won't be falling behind, you'll be falling forward.